What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great, and enjoying freedom. It's a great day to have a great day. Today, I wanted to talk about utilizing silver and gold as a method of saving money, but also remembering not to get too caught up in exclusively saving money and saving money only. Save, penny pinching. We need to figure out ways of getting creative when it comes to making more money. I'm not talking about just going to work and coming home. We need to have multiple streams of income. We need to have more cash coming in, because guess what? More cash on top of the cash you're already making can get you. It can get you more silver, more gold, which is what I want to talk about in today's video. Now, funny enough, one thing we can do, and one thing that I always recommend that people do, is to cut back on their expenses. A lot of people don't realize how much unnecessary money is going right out the window. And the first thing you can look at are some of the subscriptions that you have. If you're subscribed to this, if you have a membership to that, we all have subscriptions and memberships. I know I definitely do. I have a gym membership, well worth it. I do have a Netflix account, but if you're someone out there that has like multiple accounts with like multiple streaming services, just like knock them all off and keep one. And I don't even really watch Netflix. I only really have an account if I have like friends over, people over, and just put something on, stuff like that. I have a wholesale club membership. Later this year, I'm actually going to be purchasing myself a wearable health tracker that basically tracks like a crazy wide range of biometrics, and I consider that to be an investment in my health, and that's going to come with like a $5-6 a month membership or something like that. But try to keep your expenses as low as possible. Maybe cut back on going out to eat. That's expensive. Make food at home. Maybe consider not getting Uber Eats dropped off at your job and just bring lunch to work with you. Things like that. You can cut back on expenses. We all can. That's the first step, I would say. The second step is equally as important, not just cutting back on expenses, but increasing income. Funny enough, about 10, maybe 11 years ago at this point, I had a mentor that was kind of introducing me to this entrepreneurial way of thinking, which I already kind of had. Even when I was a kid, I remember I was going around the neighborhood knocking on doors. Can I cut your grass? Can I rake your leaves? Can I shovel your driveway? Can I wash your car? Can I walk your dog? I was always looking for ways to make money. I was always a young hustler, so I always had that in me. But when I was a kid, I wasn't even thinking about expenses, because when you're a kid, you don't have expenses. So as I got older and expenses started to introduce themselves in my life, I was looking for ways to cut them out. And this mentor of mine told me, don't decrease expenses, increase your income. And my response to that was, why not both? So I continued to get rid of expenses, unnecessary spending. Obviously, you're going to have expenses. It's always going to be a thing. Expenses are always going to exist in your life. But once you cut out what you no longer need, and you got the saving a little extra money taken care of, now we can start worrying about making a little extra money. So if you have a job, if you're working full-time, 40, 50 hours a week, whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to work, you're coming home, and that primary source of income is your source of income, in my personal opinion, you're getting left behind, because you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Now, obviously, the easiest way of adding an extra stream of income is by getting a second job. This is what I recommend to a lot of people, especially for the younger people out there who still have that energy, that still have that drive, that still want it. You're still hungry for it, and you have the ability to do it and just keep on going, and not just work an 8 to 12 hour day, but maybe a 14, 15, 16 hour day. I don't know, just like 2 nights a week. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not telling people to go out there and get 2 full-time jobs. That's absurd. That's something only a crazy person like myself would do. But here's the thing. That second job, just a little 2, maybe 3 nights a week, and it doesn't have to be a 16-hour day for you. It could be a little 4-hour shift after work. It doesn't have to be that big of a deal. But go and get that second job as an example of adding an extra stream of income. Because what can that secondary job bring into your life? I don't know, maybe an extra $200. But guess what? Coming around full circle here, back to what's on display, which, by the way, we have a nice little display of silver right here. We got the Aztec calendar round. We got some of the creatures of the north right here. We have a 5 ounce, a 3 ounce, a 2 ounce silver bar. We got some coins and rounds right down the center. We got some 10 ounce bars, a little 1 ounce American flag bar. God bless the USA. And of course, we got a couple of silver buffaloes over here. And of course, some fractional gold. But anyway, coming around full circle here, what could that second job that's, paying you, let's just call it about $200 extra a week, what could that get you? Right now, with the spot price of silver being about $38.40, you tack on a little bit of a premium, what could that extra $200 a week get you? It can get you 4 to 5 extra ounces of silver every single week. That is why we need to start being creative. What's an extra 4 or 5 ounces of silver every week? To some people out there, it might not be very much. Like, what's 4 or 5 ounces of silver? At the end of the day, it truly is not that big of a deal. But it's not just 4 to 5 ounces of silver. It's an extra 4 to 5 ounces of silver on top of the silver that you're already getting. This is adding to the compound effect. Let's just say you're already getting, let's call it, 100 ounces of silver a month. Which, if you're able to afford that, God bless you. Must be nice. But if you're getting, let's just say, hypothetically, 100 ounces of silver every month, and you get yourself a secondary job that's paying you about $200 a week, and you use that $200 a week to get yourself 4 to 5 ounces of silver. I mean, at the end of the month, that's only an additional 16 to 20 ounces of silver on top of the 100 that you're already getting. But guess what that means? That means you went from 100 ounces of silver a month on average to potentially 120 ounces of silver a month. And you don't have to do this forever. You can do this for a year, 6 months. Doesn't have to be permanent. You get yourself a secondary job just to make a little bit of extra money, just to get yourself up to speed, maybe pay off some debt a little bit sooner than what you thought was possible. Get that debt out of that way, cut that friggin' ball and chain off your ankle, and now you can start moving forward instead of being dragged back. Now you can actually go to 100 without being capped at 70. You can pay off that debt a little bit sooner. Or if you don't have debt, you can get right into stacking or right into investing. And by the way, let's forget about silver for half a second and let's talk about gold. That second job that's paying you about $200 a week, how much gold can that get you? Gold is obviously way more expensive than silver is. So you might not want to go by the week, you can go by every 2 weeks. What can 2 weeks worth of pay get you with this secondary job? 2 weeks worth of pay should be able to get you about 1/4 of an ounce of gold, potentially. Might take you a little bit longer. Or you can save up for a couple of months instead of a couple of weeks and just wait until you have enough cash to get yourself 1 ounce of gold. Now, having to go a couple of months to save up for 1 ounce of gold might not be the easiest thing to do, but remember, it's not an ounce of gold, it's an extra ounce of gold. It's a secondary source of income. That's a secondary way of getting silver and gold. If, of course, stacking is your priority. If investing is your priority, like it is for me. Like for me, stacking is more of a hobby. The coins, the rounds, the bars, it's more of a fun little thing to do that's also saving me money long term. I do believe that, we're having a great year this year for the precious metals. Silver, for example, is up about 19% in the last 3 months. It's up 32, I believe, percent year to date. It's a fantastic year for the precious metals. Gold is up about 5% in the last 3 months, up about 28% year to date. Fantastic year for the precious metals. Not every year is going to be like that. There will be bad years for precious metals. I've seen plenty, and I've only been doing this, 7, 8 years? I do believe long-term, 10, 20, 30 years out, the good years and the bad years will average themselves out, and the precious metals will ultimately have done what they were set out to do, or what I deployed the precious metals to do. Fight off inflation for me. I do believe that the silver and gold, long-term, will outperform the average rate of inflation. I do believe that they will be a hedge against inflation long term. And it's cool that just something that I consider to be merely a hobby of mine can do that for me. I can't think of many hobbies that save money for you. Most hobbies cost money. My hobby saves money. But being that it's just a hobby, not my number one priority. My number one priority right now is investing so that I can create as much wealth as possible. The silver and gold, it's to preserve wealth that has already been created. I'm on the younger side. I haven't created a tremendous amount of wealth just yet, so my priority is creating wealth, building wealth, growing wealth, while preserving a little bit on the side. So depending on what your goals are, you're going to want to introduce a secondary source of income. Not just rely exclusively on your primary source of income. Go and get a second job. Even if it's just 1, 2, 3 nights a week. Even if it's just for 6 months or 12 months. Just to get yourself ahead. It doesn't have to be permanent. And it doesn't have to be extreme. It doesn't have to be, 30, 40 extra hours a week. No, it could be 15 to 20. Or less even. 10 to 15. 1 day a week. It doesn't have to be anything insane. And it doesn't have to be permanent, and it doesn't have to be long term. Get yourself that secondary source of income. Or start yourself a little side hustle. You can create, like if you are, like if you're into woodworking, you can make and sell stuff. If you're into painting, you can provide a service. There's plenty of ways of being creative out there. Or you can utilize something that already exists, such as Uber Eats. I used to do Uber Eats all the time. Number one, it's fun. Number two, it doesn't pay too bad. It's actually a pretty decent side hustle. Things like that. There's always a way of getting creative when it comes to making more money. That's why I always tell the young people out there, and people look at me and call me a young person, but I'm talking about like the young people out there, the people that have zero life experience. They're just stepping into the working world. I always tell them, I get it, they're young, they want to have fun and stuff like that, but also at the same time, if your boss sends you a text and be like, hey, this person called out, can you come in? Say yes if you can. Pick up those shifts. Work that overtime. You're young. You're physically way more than capable of doing it. Hustle. Get yourself ahead when you're 18, 19, 20. And maybe you can, kind of kick back a little bit more than the average 30, 40, 50-year-old can when you're that age. I always tell people, hustle. Do it. Prioritize your financial well-being. People talk all about mental health. Oh, take care of your mental health. Yeah, absolutely. People have been saying for friggin' decades how important it is to take care of your physical health. Every country in the world takes care of their physical health except for America. Take care of your physical health. Well, guess what? We're stepping into the new world now. Now we're talking about financial health too. Prioritize all three. Make sure your mind's right. Make sure your body's right. But make sure your money's right too. Get that second job. Go and get yourself a seasonal position. I did that one time. I started, I think it was the first week of November, and it was only to run until the first week of January. It was just for that, like, holiday time. Just 2 straight months, that's it. That was all. Go and get yourself a little something extra. Get creative. And coming around full circle once again here, get creative. Why? Because that creativity, that secondary stream of income, can get you more of what you want in your life. More silver and gold, if that is what you're seeking. More money being pumped into your investment accounts, or more money you could be saving up for down payment on a house, or to invest in a business that you're running. Things like that. Get creative. It all comes down to whether or not you want it. So head on down to the comments and let me know some creative ways you've gone about adding an extra stream of income. A legal way, by the way. What are some ways you've gone about getting a little bit of extra money? Working a second job, Uber Eats, a little side business of yours, something like that? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe to both of my YouTube channels, and follow me on social media at Mykie DYDSS across all platforms, Twitter or X, Instagram, and the Tickety-Tock. Give your boy a follow. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the video. Appreciate you watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.